Hey there, and welcome to That's Audacious, where we share entrepreneurial stories from amazing leaders to inspire and motivate you to be bold, brave, and audacious. I'm your host, Lauren Clement, the brand navigator, here to share stories that will make you say, well, that's audacious. Hello and welcome to That's Audacious, yet another podcast sharing some amazing stories from what's going on with people building profiles. Now, today we have a very special guest. The lovely George Hedon is with us. He's the visionary founder and CEO of Pause Fest and the Pause Awards. This is Australia's flagship innovation festival, known as the Innovation Capital. And under George's leadership, Pause Fest has attracted over 80,000 attendees. It's really become a benchmark for business excellence, and we love the Pause Awards. So, George, I'm really looking forward to finding out more about you and about the Pause Awards and how they work and all the stuff that goes on in the background. So tell us a little bit, George, about who you are and why you got started with Pause Fest.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me. It's my pleasure to chat to you and share some of the, blood, sweat, and tears behind the scenes, because a lot of people just don't know about it. And how I started Pause Fest. Well, it was now 15 years ago. I just came back from Europe. I was meant to go for 3 months, ended up staying 5 years. Half of that time was in London and half of it was in Belgrade, Serbia. And it was straight after the university I graduated. I just went to London. It's like, yes, I'm gonna find my perfect job. I only read about it. I could not get into anything. I guess it was very tough. I think it's still really tough, but at least I know those dream jobs exist. And then I went through, building my career through design, advertising. I had a pleasure to have my first solo art exhibition as part of Belgrade Design Week, and that was fantastically kind of successful. Got a lot of international sort of praise. I guess that gave me a confidence that what I do somebody likes. And then I did another one with the Mixer Festival, was the inaugural sort of event, more for product design, furniture, and that sort of stuff. But they had experiential sort of segment, which I did installation. And so I got back to Melbourne, and I was like brimming with this energy. I was 15 years younger, may I say, as well. So I wanted to do something, caught up with friends, and essentially Pause started as this manifestation and frustration of not having anywhere where you can go and meet people who have some side hustles, ideas, and things they want to share. There was no meetup, for example. There was no, entrepreneur events. Startups were not really in vocabulary. It was like a different time, and that was just 15 years ago. So we started something, didn't know what we were doing, but what it meant for us was a moment in time when we come together, and that's the definition of Pause Fest. And, from there on, I can continue, but it's a journey of 5 years of, getting the product market fit. Because again, had no idea what I was doing. I was trying to build something, started from somewhere, and there you go.
I love it. So what was it like going from being a creator and running your own exhibitions and being the creator of these things to now managing a platform for other creators to share their work? Because that was a bit of a transition from I'm just going to go on an exhibit at other people's festivals to actually having your own.
Yes, and I always kind of wondered how people end up running conferences and festivals, and I was like, there isn't really a course. You can't go and study. There's none of it. So I guess doing all these things and doing what I was really passionate about, and that was design, art at the time, then kind of being pushed through employment into explorative areas. I was doing my blog, but then they wanted me to do a company blog and sort of do some business development. And slowly I was kind of building some additional skills, not just, I guess, creative. And I think that was important segment. Mind you, I need to say this. This is kind of where, so there's two things that really gave me confidence to step into what I was about to do. I was DJing for a long time, and I was running events and promoting, and I was doing all that. So I was doing that for a long time, for years. And I was working on the radio, and so I had that experience, and that was all, mind you, just kind of like a passion project. Like I was not for making money, but I was doing that because that was the crew, that was the stuff, that was what I found myself, my home. And then I was a designer on the side, so I could make something beautiful, put it out there, sell it, bring people around. That was my skill to start with. But I didn't know how to curate. I didn't know what topics, I could sell, but I don't know what am I selling. So that was the thing in a box. Like I need to unpack that. And it took me a long time because like, okay, I know this, but I'm not an expert in this. How am I gonna, and this is the thing. So my PostFest originally started as animation, screen, film, sort of, we call it digital culture sort of festival. I had no idea how to create any animations. Really, I did some basic stuff, but I really loved that sort of space, and nobody was giving any love to it in Melbourne. So people just started coming together, and then from there, I kind of started learning. Okay, what are people saying? You become a cultural listener. And I did that through blogging as well. So you kind of really need to go through the weeds and find the things. And it was a really, really steep and long learning curve for me. And I'm still learning, everything, every day, there's something new.
I love it. So as always, that fabulous story of, look, there's a gap. There's something that I think we need, or I need. Nobody else is providing it, so I'm going to step in and go, okay, well, I'll do it. And that's it happens a lot, doesn't it, when people are coming up with amazing solutions and incredible innovations and so on. So the Pause Fest has really moved a lot, hasn't it, from being that celebration of, as you say, animation and film and creativity to what it is today. Can you tell us a little bit about who Pause Fest is for today, and especially the awards? Who are they really for?
Yes, sure. So I explained how it sort of started, and there's this kind of like a really incubation period of 5 years of like, yeah, we've kind of got this, but this is not working commercially. We're not making money. I'm losing money. This is my savings. This is all the savings I've had. So I'm bootstrapping. No one even wants to invest in it because they're like, what is this? This is high risk. Like, who's going to like this? I wasn't focused. I wasn't really kind of like, this is what it is. I wasn't coming even from that. And anyway, I was very passionate about it. But I thought, okay, well, this isn't working. Let's bring startups in. And for example, Melanie from Canva was there before she launched it to public. And so we started getting all these like a really interesting, awesome people that were just creating stuff, creating new businesses. But even that wasn't enough because I wasn't managed to pay the bills, because the bills started rolling and they were bigger and bigger. And I'm like, okay, well, I need to bring the corporate Australia to this. They need to see all that, and they need to be part of conversation. So we have 3 personas we talk to: explorers. These are the people who are thinking about stepping into something. These are your, let's say, you might even say, wannabe X, Y, Z. I want to become an entrepreneur. I want to run my business. I want to do something about something. We have leaders, and leaders, of course, they are on the top of their game. They are CEOs, C-level executives, and then you have creators. And creators are, I guess, founders mostly, or entrepreneurs, people that just build stuff. So these are 3 tiers, but also our DNA over 5 years kind of has focused on creativity, technology, and business. And that's been our engine that basically was used to create content, to curate, to attract people. And there's this belief that without these three, a modern world of business cannot exist. So you need these three types of people, these personalities or skills to build the 21st century business. And so we were talking at these three audiences instead of just kind of being super niche. We just kind of went, Pixar, yes. NASA, yes. Amazon, yes. Google, yes. Everybody come in. We'll just kind of facilitate it through these lenses.
Yeah, I love it. I mean, in reality, this is the engine of the economy, isn't it? The creators, the people coming up with solutions to things that no one's really thought about before. They're incredibly cutting edge and innovative, and they tend to do things that normal people don't think about. That's the sort of people who have been attracted to us. And just some of those names and brands that you're mentioning, the Googles and the NASAs and so on. I mean, those are big, well-known organizations that you've managed to bring into the PauseFest world. Congratulations for doing that, by the way, and for creating such an amazing platform. And it's right here in Australia, isn't it? I mean, this is the cool thing, is it's been founded in Australia, where the backbone of our economy is coming from these smaller innovators who are the startups, and they're the minnows who turn into these incredible opportunities like the Canvas and so on. What would some of your tips be for somebody who maybe is thinking, oh, those sound like big names? Because I know a lot of people, when I first talk to them about entering awards, the big question is, oh, I don't know if I've done enough yet to enter awards. Whereas I feel with the PauseFest, because you're talking about people who are creating solutions, I don't think you have to have had major runs on the board to be part of PauseFest, do you? As long as you've got something that's impactful and innovative, there's an opportunity for you.
Yeah, so we were one of, and I think still standing, a festival that had the most international speakers coming. It would vary from 20 to 40. And I was very privileged and appreciative of what has turned into. Years before, I was begging everybody, let's not forget that as well. But it people, and I guess companies understood that. So most of them came from Silicon Valley. But what we were trying to sort of really get at is this is a window into the global and how they've done it, how they do it, how they scale it, how they talk, how they ship it, how they do. But there's, let's say out of 300 speakers that we have at an event, which is crazy, that's just 20 to 40 internationals. Everybody else is local. And we try to look in the local for these new people that are doing some interesting stuff. They need a platform to not just tell their stories, but to connect. So platforms serve a lot of different purposes. Yes, it's about the voice, but it's also a lot about what happens behind the scenes, where these people meet, the conversations they have, and how that influences their future trajectories. Will they come back and work together? Is there opportunity? But at least they know each other, so they can think about opportunities, if not direct, then maybe somebody in their circles. So these are the beautiful things with the events, when you come together and you can have this type of impact. But also we were really communicating with Pause Awards that, and again, over years, we figured out that we are honing on to breakthroughs, but then we wanted to educate people that these breakthroughs are not your, finding, the light bulb, or figuring out how, world operates. It's a small incremental step that you implement in your business. And if that works well, and you see that you're getting a success from it, you enter that. that's your success. But I think a lot of businesses are, and especially startups and founders, are stuck in running mode. They don't even see, if it's not broke, they don't know what's good. And but when it's broke, you need to fix it. And so you don't actually realize how much gold you have in your hands and how well you've done, because you're not focused on that. You're focused on what's broken. And so I think that mindset, it's worth sort of exploring and educating people that, everyone's got some gold nuggets. They just need to dig them out.
Yeah, so often we are focused on doing the do, aren't we? And I can imagine with innovators, with people coming up with creative solutions, it is all about what the stuff that isn't working that they focus on. You are listening to the That's Audacious podcast. If you're liking what you're hearing, there are lots of other episodes with incredible people that will inspire and motivate you. You can find us on all your favourite podcast channels. Today I'm talking with the fabulous George Hedon, who is the founder of Pause Fest and the Pause Awards. Now, George, give us some secrets here. What is the secret to winning a Pause Award? Give us some insight. I mean, this is the thing. The reason why I interview people who run awards platforms is to give us some little ideas to help people understand how to put their best foot forward when they are going for these awards. How do I win a Pause Award? What do I need to do?
Right. Yes. Well, look, I say to people, it's easy. You only need 1,000 words. That's all. But those 1,000 words need to convince the judges that you are worthy of the Pause Awards. And I guess every awards have their own things that they judge, and they have eligibility criterias and all this sort of stuff. Please read Pause Awards, because we are very transparent about it. We need to see that you've identified that breakthrough moment, whatever that is. Tell us what was the situation before that occurred. What are the tactics that you've used to implement in the marketplace? Tell us what are the results that you've got from the marketplace, and then tell us, what's the impact that is on your company, on your suppliers, on the market. So when judges are reading, they kind of see, this is my situation. It's kind of like a mini case study, but we actually done it in a way that, we ask all these questions instead of like you needing to figure it out, because there's a lot of the times it's like, oh, just write the whole story, and people just don't. They just don't know. So we actually guiding people with a very short questions, 150 words, with answers, so that we can get that full case study story. And I'd say relevance is very important. If this happened 10 years ago, or you're trying to kind of like say, oh, well, it's kind of 5 years into yesterday, and like if you can be more focused and have, because we run awards yearly, and we essentially would like to hear what happened last year, not 10 years ago. So trying to grab sort of highlight that sort of success that I might have had before and to get the award now, it's a debatable. So just be very honest and find those great nuggets. Tell us what you got. And also, we, especially at Pause Awards, we don't benchmark you against others. So you're not competing, because, I mean, we are also very different. We don't have 5 winners per category. We have indefinite. You can have as many as possible. So we are not benchmarking you against, for example, big guys, where they could have a lot more successes because they're bigger. We don't, and this is where we try to champion small incremental fixes in your business could actually lead to great results. So yeah, that's essentially how judges judge, and there's 2 rounds. So one is elimination, I guess, process finalists, and the second one is a round table where judges essentially debate and argue over your entries. I've sat for years over, and it's a very fiery conversation. And just so you know that they have read everything you put there. So if you're entering, put some effort into it. Don't just like, oh, they're gonna figure it out, they know my business. No, they're not gonna go online and do the research. Sometimes they do because they're compelled and they want to sort of see, but they're not supposed to. So just think about it, having to judge hundreds of works and you having to stand out. But you'll stand out if you just answer all the questions and give enough substance to judges to judge you. And I guarantee you're gonna win it. Like, if you've done everything, you're gonna win it.
Fabulous. I love that. There's that fabulous saying, isn't there? If I'd had more time, I would have written a shorter letter. And I love the fact that you're asking people in 1,000 words to talk about their breakthrough, the impact, the innovation, and how it's actually having some sort of success. One quick question. I know you've got those 3 different levels, the startups, the leaders, and the people who are really scaling. If you haven't yet gone to market, is it too early to enter the Pause Awards, or can you talk about the impact you're having in terms of beta testing or anything like that?
Yeah, look, because we are more impact-driven awards, we do need results. So in our eligibility, like, you need to be employed at least for a year or have some traction so that you can show. We did have one time a category that was more for that sort of not launched yet sort of product. It didn't go well, I guess. A lot of people hesitant because of the reasons that you said. I haven't done enough. I don't know what's working. I don't want people to steal my idea. Like, there's all sorts of kind of reasons. So it didn't really resonate as much with the audience. So we then kind of went, okay, well, let's just focus on those who have hit the road and they have something to show.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. And that's interesting. There was one of the words you used earlier. We talked about, you must have had an impact. You've created something, you're seeing some results. But one of the words you used very early in our discussion today was interesting. Has your business done something interesting? Because often when you're creating a solution, you come up with stuff you hadn't even thought was possible. And something was interesting. We didn't expect that to happen, but look at the result we've got, or look at the impact we've had. So I think there's an opportunity with the Pause Awards as well to take a moment to look at what your company is doing, or what your organization or your innovative approach is doing that's interesting, because that's the bit that will start to intrigue the judges and go, you know what, we need to look a bit more into this, into what's going on. George, it's been absolutely fabulous chatting with you today. I know we have such a short time on this podcast and we could talk for hours. What are some of the final tips you could give to help people? But more importantly, the one question I always ask people is more of an introspective thing, is if you could go back in time to a younger version of yourself and give yourself one piece of advice, what might that be?
That is a really great question. And I haven't really thought of it, but look, everything I've done my whole life has been just kind of very driven by curiosity and my personal gut and passion. So I'll kind of just gravitate slowly to that. I'm curious at this stage of life, if I have been more pragmatic and kind of not gone into creative and have gone into more traditional sort of stuff, and what would that be like? But again, I have not been born with technology like many of us. I'm a little bit jealous with the kids these days because they growing up with the phones and like AI and robots. I don't know what's going to happen with that, but if I was a kid these days, I would love to actually transport myself as a kid to this environment. That's what I would love to do. Instead of changing.
Wouldn't that be awesome? Yeah, I'm like you. I'm quite pleased that there was no social media around when I was a teenager. There's no evidence of the stupid stuff I got up to, but I really love the fact that we can create almost anything today with no barrier. It doesn't cost a lot of money. It doesn't take as much time as it used to. We could do so much more if we just could go back and transport ourselves to today. That's so cool. George, it's been so interesting chatting with you today. We will put information about the Pause Fest and the Pause Awards along with this podcast, so you can find out more about them if you wanted to enter those. I do encourage you to reach out and find out more about it. I love the format for these awards, the fact that there's an infinite number of winners. As long as you've got impact, you're innovating, you have something that's interesting to share, you should be looking at the Pause Awards as an opportunity to really reflect on your journey. George, any last suggestions you can leave us with to help people really step into their innovation and just be creative and go out there and do it?
Well, just be curious. Look up things, engage, go to meetups, find out stuff, slowly meet people. It starts with small steps, and there's this saying, small steps lead to big things. So it might take a long time, but it will take as long as you need it to take. Just sort of start chipping at it one bit at a time, online, in person, and surround yourself with the interesting things and people that you want to be with. So yeah.
I love it. Stepping out of your comfort zone and do something a bit different. It's a great way to do it. Thank you, George, so much for being on the That's Audacious podcast today. It's been a real pleasure to talk to you about what your journey has been like, and the Pause Fest and Pause Awards, of course. And there will be links available, of course. Go and check it out. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Lauren. My pleasure.
Thanks so much for listening to the That's Audacious podcast. Remember, there's no place for modesty in business, and you do deserve to be well known, well paid, and wanted. For more episodes, please subscribe to the podcast on your favourite channel or follow us online. The links are in the description below.